You wanna fuck, right? Let's not lie to ourselves. Me and you both know why you did. This is the same physique that I use to fuck, absolutely pound girls when I used to be a former fat fuck. Now, a while ago, I was on a date with a girl that I took from the beach that I usually go to. And during the date, we had the question of what type of bodies are we interested in? Because we were both into the gym. We both like the topic. And she asked me, oh, what type of physique are you into? And for girls, obviously. And I told her that I was into the slim, athletic build, a little bit petite, but still had a fat ass. And she told me she was into dad bods, which was perplexing to me. But we carried on with the date, and you know what I did, smash the course. We finish up, do the usual do, and as I'm getting up, I look towards her mirror, just pose and feel good about myself because I have abs. And while I'm posing, I see that she's looking at me. And I asked her just one question. Oh, I thought you liked dad bods. She starts tumbling over words, yada, yada, yada. The point of this is Lena's law, and she would have never fucked me if I had a dad bod. See, the fallacy is girls now tell guys that dad bods are what we find attractive. They do not. The only reason why I fucked that girl is because I have an aesthetic body. An aesthetic body. I have a V-tapered physique where my shoulders are wider than my hips and I have muscles. That is what allowed me to fuck her. And what really solidified me, which separated me from the dad bods to where I am now, where I get girls, was my body fat percentage. Being lean. The difference between a dad bod and the aesthetic body is the dad bod has roughly around 20 to 25% body fat with muscle. That is not where we want to be. We want to be at least the minimum range of 15% body fat. That's why you get to start fucking girls, absolutely pounding them. You're not doing that at 20% body fat. Now, the media might tell you that, oh yeah, I still get girls, Henry Cavill at 20% body fat was still fucking girls, was still pulling in models. He's Henry Cavill. And even at that, the guy was mid-bulk. You're not at that level. What you are right now is you can get to the level of being absolutely ripped, absolutely shredded. And the way to get there is at 50% body fat. With each pound of fat you lose, you get at least 2 more girls in your life. Let's say you were at 70% body fat at the start of this year. And the rough amount of girls that you get each year is at least two per year at 70% body fat. You drop down to 15, you get 4 that are interested in you in that same year. You drop down to 13, 5, 6, the number keeps going on. And as you keep packing on more muscle and leaning your physique down, that is how much girls you're gonna get. And you ask yourself, okay, now how do I get to this lean body fat percentage? Calorie deficit. Our main goal is to use the calorie deficit to get ourselves to at least minimum, I say minimum because we want to be elevated. We're gonna have high standards for ourselves. So we're gonna be aiming for at least 15% body fat. And the way to get there is a calorie deficit. Now, the best way to do this is you're gonna go online, type up TDE calculator, TDEE calculator. You're gonna type in your body fat, type in your height, weight, your metrics, everything. And you're going to get what is called maintenance calories. Now, if you're at least like over 200 pounds, your maintenance calories is gonna be like 2.4, 2.5, even maybe 3,000 calories, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna subtract at least 500 to 700 from those calories, right? You're at 2.6, subtract at least 4 of those, you're gonna be at least 2.1, 2.2, at least 400, 500, 600, 700 calories we're deducting from our maintenance. That is going to put us in a steep but steady decline in body fat, where you could see gradual progress over a week by week basis, where you lose at least 1 pound, 1.5 pounds every few weeks. And the way we emphasize this is through our diet. Our diet is what's going to be our punch, the punch that we use to maximize the amount of force that we want, which is our body fat percentage. And the way to do this is you're going to be eating mainly unprocessed foods, not processed, unprocessed foods, meat, eggs, chicken, rice. Well, not rice, but you get the crux, right? Unprocessed foods. With unprocessed foods, it's easier to track. It's easier to put down and track your meals thoroughly so you can pinpoint, where am I gaining fat from? Do I have excess amount of calories in this place, or am I just like deducting too much calories from my maintenance where I'm losing weight too rapidly, which will also equal in muscle loss, and we don't want muscle loss. So the best way to do this is by eating unprocessed foods, where we can not only be fuller, but we can track our macros properly. Now, if you want a bonus tip, I mainly eat raw meat and eggs, where on a daily basis I'll eat beef and eggs, chicken and eggs. And let me just tell you, my dick is absolutely rock hard. So if you want extra enhancement inside the bedroom, eat more eggs, eat more meat. And when you add this all together, you now pack the punch, where you're going to be at a steady but steep decline in body fat, where you start to see a lot more visibility inside your abs. Your V-line starts to poke out a lot more, and you start to see a lot more definition in your biceps, to the point where you're going to go in the mirror. One day you're going to take a shirtless pic where you post that on Instagram. You're going to see likes all down the description, like after like after like, from the girls that you actually want to attract. Now, if you want to know how to specifically take these shirtless pictures to be able to attract the woman you want and fuck her, be able to fuck the absolute shit out of her to the point where she says you actually put a dent inside my mattress, link in the description. But if we want to be sexy and we want to keep this attractiveness that we now just gained, you're gonna have to train to absolute failure. Why I say this is because in terms of the muscle we now built, we need to be able to stimulate it to the point where we not only preserve it, but we grow even more. And on a deficit, it's even harder to grow muscle. So what we need to do is we're going to be needing to train to absolute maximum failure. Now, what is failure? Failure is when you get to the point of muscle fatigue, where you push to the absolute point of no return and you can't go past that. You get to around that 6 to 8 rep range, where you use a lot of weight that you can carry with good form. Always remember that when you lift the weight, you must carry good form in order to execute the rep. If you do not do that, you're basically just loading the bar and ego lifting, and you're not really doing anything. But you add this all together, you're able to push to maximum failure, where you get that absolute muscle fatigue, which in turn helps us preserve and build more muscle in order to enhance the V-taper that we just built for ourselves. And the way we want to effectively do this is by going for the Goldilocks zone of frequency training. Now, what is the Goldilocks zone? I call this the not too hot but not too cold of lifting, where for power builders and the dad bods that we want to avoid getting, they lift from at least 1 to 5 reps on a 2-set rep range for 2 sets, right? We don't want to do that. That's effectively like the Papa Bear, where Goldilocks goes to the 3 Little Bears house and she sleeps on the bed and the dad's bed is too hard. She can't do it. Or we go for the 2 soft one, where we go for at least 3 to 4 sets with 10 to 12 reps. Absolute redundancy, where in terms of Goldilocks, she sleeps on the mama bear's bed. It's too soft. She can't sleep comfortably. It's way too soft for her to sleep on that mattress. But the absolute Goldilocks zone of lifting is that 2 to 8 or 2 to 6 to 8 rep range, where we get the most maximum rep range, maximum peak of rep range, where we can lift our highest, but also effectively, where we're not using too much weight to the point where we're ego lifting, and we're not doing too less volume, where it's absolutely redundant and we're not building any muscle. That 2 to 6 rep range, where we use absolute failure, is where we're going to build the most muscle and keep the muscle that we gain over the cut. And with all that put together, you're now able to go to the beach, take off your shirt, walk along. It feels sexy as fuck. confident that you have a six-pack, raging six-pack with veins, and you see a nice girl walking along on the beach bed. You talk to her, bring her on a date, and you actually fuck the shit out of her. My name is Bo. Go down in the description to get that sexy physique, and like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.